In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to knit the half fisherman's rib. The half fisherman's rib is called half because it's different on both sides of the work. The front side of the work looks like this, where it almost looks like a regular rib. On the back side, you can see that the stitches look almost more squashed than they do on the front side. You can use either side of the work as your front side. It's simply a matter of preference. It's important to note that this rib stitch will look very different depending on which kind of yarn and which size needles you're using. For this demonstration, I'm going to use 2 colours of a mohair yarn, but if I was knitting with a smoother yarn on smaller needles, the rib might look more defined as it does here. Now I'm going to show you how to create the half fisherman's rib. So you want to begin by knitting an entire row of knit stitches. These knit stitches would typically be used on the back side of your work, but again, it's a matter of preference. Both sides have a beautiful finish. So knit every single stitch on the needle. So this here is a row of knit stitches which I've just created. Now I'm going to turn my work around and start working what I'm using as the front side of my work. I'm going to begin by purling the first stitch, and then for the second stitch I'll knit into the stitch below, and I'll continue that sequence all the way along, purling one stitch and knitting into the stitch below for the next stitch. So here I'm creating a purl stitch. Now I'm going to bring the yarn to the back of my work as I was about to work a completely regular knit stitch. This here would be a completely regular knit stitch, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to take my needle and insert it into the loop below the stitch on my needle. So this is called knitting into the stitch below. Insert the needle, wrap the yarn around, pull the loop through. There's the new stitch, and release. Bring the yarn to the front of the work and purl the stitch, a completely regular purl stitch. And now again, take your yarn to the back of the work, insert the needle into the stitch below, wrap the yarn around, pull the loop through, and release. I'll show you a couple more times. And I'm going to complete the whole row of stitches using the same sequence. Now I'm working the last few stitches on my needle. And the last stitch on my needle is a purl stitch. So I'm going to purl that stitch. And here is what would be the front side of my work. So you can really see that rib beginning to emerge. And there's the back side. And that is how you create a half fisherman's rib.